Dès le deuxième stade, il y a un truc qui est rentré là.
Ouais.
Et tu vois, du coup, je reviens au début, donc faut ça.
Ah, très bien.
Bonjour.
Joue.
Avec moi qui vais projeter.
Je ne sais pas s'il y a que toi qui va projeter.
Tiens d'ailleurs, est-ce que ça marche? T'as pas allumé les vidéos?
Je pensais l'avoir fait.
Tu vas projeter aussi toi?
Je sais pas.
Ça dépend de ton humeur.
Un peu, ouais.
Pour l'instant, t'es plutôt d'humeur projetable ou...
Ah putain, j'ai pas d'adaptateur.
Voilà.
Bah, du coup, je peux le temps. Ah, mais on prend ton PC, on est en prod, mais c'est en prod. Le web, c'est
Ah, moi je déroule mon PC, moi.
Est-ce
mon PC.
que je peux commencer avec mon PC parce que j'ai besoin de.
Bah, je vais pouvoir tester avant. Oh,
Hein
tu vois mon signal?
T'as besoin de
Je vois que dalle pour l'instant là, ça s'allume ou ça s'allume pas? T'as un truc de partage d'écran activé de ton côté?
Attends.
Parce que moi je l'ai essayé, moi ça marchait.
Attends, j'ai pas encore, mais
De quoi?
justement,
Du coup,
pour
c'est moi
ça
qui
que-
fais le début.
Bah ouais.
J'ai pas trop suivi moi ce qui s'est passé pendant ce film.
Moi je fais juste.
Ah,
teste
ça
juste
fonctionne.
mon PC.
Ça fonctionne, mais ce serait pas mal que cette saloperie s'allume là.
Donc, ce sera possible de changer
Oui, oui, je.
Ouais, oui, l'ordi, pas de problème.
Je
C'est bon.
teste juste là que mon écran fonctionne. Voilà, c'est bon. Qui veut présenter?
Qui commence la démo?
Vas-y, André.
C'est juste. Je vais.
C'est toi qui commence, donc on a qu'à faire la presse sur ton ordi.
Ouais.
On s'en fout.
Non, moi j'ai besoin du mien.
J'ai pas besoin de la mienne.
Je suis caméraman.
Et du coup, on a invité plein de gens ou pas finalement?
J'ai mis le message sur FT Ultimate avec le live et Barcelone.
Non, mais il y avait des trucs en particulier, ça exclut. Non, pour ça.
Bah, j'ai cherché ce matin quel livre je peux.
Vos mimiques.
Qu'est-ce que je peux mettre comme annonce Bon, toi, ton code de prod, il a des annonces
Lequel? Ouais, normalement, ouais.
On a des gens en ligne ou pas?
Oh, il y a 5 personnes en ligne déjà sur le live.
Et il y a des Barcelonais?
Ça, je peux pas te dire.
Est-ce que quelqu'un a invité Fred va venir
L'invité.
Fred, il est chez lui, non?
Hein
Il est chez
Je suis
lui.
le PC. Mais est-ce que aujourd'hui.
Je vais le chercher, vous pouvez commencer.
In English, so let's start.
Merci parce que ça
No, that's cool because we are only in the family, so we can speak in English. There is no pressure.
Valentin pour qu'il puisse lancer l'enregistrement.
No, he said it's gone. It's good, but you can try to make sure it works, please.
I'll check.
Thank you. Yes. Ready? Okay, so today, thanks for coming here. We are going to show you what we did during the sprint 57, named The Rise of Prose. It's a reference to the last Star Wars movie, and because we are working hard on launching messaging for professionals. The sprint goals were for iOS, make messaging for Pro available, also for the backend, and for iOS to start search badges project and working on the service notifications. For Android, the goal was to make some feature on the transaction details page. And for the backend, it was to finish email archiving, working on messaging for Pro, and start system message for Holiday Rental. And finally, making the transaction list page for the web with a new UI. That were the sprint goals, but we did more, a lot more, especially for web. He did all the messaging for Pro, and for backend we migrated 5 topics on the new Kafka group. Yeah, well done, guys. So yeah, is with colors, all the details on what have been done and what is in test or in review. So we are pretty proud of what we did for this sprint, sorry, and detailed for the backend. Let's go to the demos. The first Android. Then, so Android transaction detail page. Then Thibaut will show us transaction list UI, Thierry the notifications, and then messaging for pros.
Hello everybody. The last time when I was speaking English, it was the last weekend, and realized that my English is I have to work on it. So for this sprint, we have several tasks, like new transaction statuses, because we have now 29 different statuses of our transactions. Then we have to work on redirection from messaging to display our details page. Then we had to update our listing of transactions to delete a few buttons. Then CTR on details page, we have to add it. Transaction canceling and fix some bugs. I will talk about it later. New transaction statuses. You can see that they are presented like this. Cancel status, dispatched, package is dispatched, terminated, and the same status on detail page. All statuses have 5 colors, status colors, and they are all unit tested to test text color, to test background color, and as I said, we have 29 statuses, and we tested twice because we test for sale and for patches. And special thanks to Lucille. He has also added a new design for unknown statuses. It's reserved if backend is will add some new statuses, and we don't know the color yet. They are not added to support all the applications. We decided to add a new one, like in these colors. Then redirection from messaging I will show you in a demo. Just in our messaging we have a view detail, see in more details a page, transaction page, and we redirect to the new page. Before it was an old listing page, and it's redirected by 2 deep links. The current one, this one, with P2P timeline, and the new one when it will be ready for the backend. Our application is also supported. Supports it. New transaction listings. The Anthony, a new Android developer who starts to work for Identity FT. The last week of this sprint, he joined us to discover what we are doing, and he works on transaction listings. The goal was to delete this button because we had 2 different behaviors. The first one, if you click on the card, you will be redirected to this page, the legacy one, and if you click on this button, you are redirected to the new one. It's not shown, but anyway, this button was deleted, and now we will have cards like this without this button. and this page and all the tests which are linked with this, it was also deleted. Thanks for Anthony, good job. And CTR on details page, Frederick, he was working on these features, and he added this button, CTR button. Before you saw this button on transaction listings, on transaction listing, and now we have this one here. Transaction canceling, we added on the background. You will see a card to cancel a transaction. Then we show a dialog if we want to delete it or not, and if we delete, we call the API and to delete the transaction, and we update this page after if transaction is deleted. And when we receive a backend response, we also check a response. The response should contain that the transaction is not anymore cancelable because we have already cancelled it. Step is cancelled. Deal ID it should be the same, and there is also 4-minute test to check the normal flow. And thanks Lucy to update quickly our spec for Android, because iOS, if I don't mistake, they display a new page, and for Android we don't have one because we said that it was BDC, and we show just boarding like this. We also detected some minor bugs, like if you use a tablet and you rotate our listing page, there is a small issue. We will fix this. On details page, if there is an issue on details page, the CTI is also shown, and we have to hide it. And after canceling transaction, if you go back to transaction listing, we have to update manually today, and we'll do it then automatically. And I will show you our reviews from App Store after the demo. And the demo is actually very simple. I will not show you a complete full transactions because it will be very long. Just like a buyer, I would like to make a transaction to buy directly. So I'm going to buy this book. I'll tap one of the address, point where will be where I can take a package. Then I have to buy it. Then you. Okay. The payment is sent. Then normally we have wait around 1 minute. 1 minute from the backend. I don't know why it's a little bit long, but it's like this. And we will receive a notification here. It was measured. It's around 1 minute.
I think you can already go into the transaction details. And,
yes, but anyway, if we go directly to these transactions, we'll try to update here like this. We have to wait a notification that the payment was successfully handled.
for it to appear, yes.
Yeah. Yep. Now we can update it like this, and we have a CTI button, a new status in progress. And if we click here, we will have a walk of Fred, a new CTR here, the same one. You can cancel it, you can click on it, and you will have different actions. Transaction canceling, you can click on it, and if you cancel it, the transaction, the transaction is cancelled. You can see the status cancelled. Cancel button is not displayed anymore because we already did it. That's all. Here we go. And if we go back, as I said, we have to manually refresh it, and we will say new status cancelled. Yeah, and you can see that we don't have any more CTAs, detail page, and we can click directly on transactions and see different statuses. So, and the last slide is about Android reviews. We decided to during our sprints to check if there are issues, what kind of issues we have, and it's not very simple to. It's not very simple to analyze them. I used actually, we have three kind of problems. The first one is linked with photos. Clients complain that they have some issues with sending different types of photos. We don't have feedback in details. We try on our side. We saw upload rates API on the backend, and we didn't notice any difficulties on upload API. Then another issue is about deleting transactions, because if transaction is probably there are some states we can delete anymore, and I reproduce on my side, and it's more linked with BDC because
it has been solved today or yesterday. It has been installed in production.
And apparently there is a third issue is about notifications. We also check it. For us, we talk about it the last sprint. The issue is fixed in 4.46 version, and all issues they are mentioned on 4.45 version. And for 4.46 version, we updated Knocker SDKs and messaging one, and they should fix this issue. We will continue to see if there are problems with these new versions or not. That's all on my side. If you have any questions, you're welcome.
Who's next?
Okay, so I will try to make this shorter. For the web, we only had to do the transaction list UI. So I will go in production mode because it's in product since 1 week now. Merci. C'est à qui? André, c'est toi?
Le Bon Coin.
Quand tu fais un pont? Anyway. Oh. T'as pas français normal? Non. Valentin. C'est la fin de droit.
Tu viens de le dire en live à YouTube.
Thank you. So on the microventure page, if it goes, okay. So you have everything you already know, which is the KYC and the onboarding, but at the bottom you have the new UI list. So it's sorted by month. As you can see, we still have the transaction to the detail page when you click on it. You can go back here. It should also work on mobile. So I can like this. So normally you have the ad picture here, but since they are deleted ads, you don't have them anymore. So you have this photo instead. If you have an action, So a CTA, you should have it here instead of the status, but because it's only done conjunction, you only have the status. So you click on the CTA, and like on the detail page, you have the model with the information to complete. And so now that this work is done, I can probably say that all these pages are now from the BDC FT team, because we are done on these pages.
Moi, je suis à gauche.
Yeah.
T'es sûr? C'est pas toi qui as l'air triste du coup?
Now iOS.
Non, c'est toi qui. Là, je suis bugué avec ça.
All right, two topics on iOS side. First, a little update about the transaction list page. First, when we released the transaction details page, we implemented a new type of status, but the old transaction list page still has the same the old status, and so we just did a little update since the latest version of the Ulmocon app side. Now we have exactly the same value, the same text, the same colors on both view, and it's available since Monday. Okay. And the other topics is a pretty technical one, and it's about notifications, and also a reminder of what kind of notification we have on the app side. And so we have 4 types of notification: messaging, so every message a user send, a quick reply, also some messaging like system message, ratings, or vacation rentals. Another notification type is the automated search. So if you have a new ad available for a search you are currently tracking. Another one for the annual renewal. If your ad is expired, you have a notification to remind you that your ad is expired, and you have the possibility to renew the ad just by clicking the notification. And the fourth one it's what I call the marketing ones. So just some notification like to reminder that if we made some action like doing some new searches, then you don't save the search like for automated search, but you have a notification in order to remind you that yes, you can save the search with all the criteria. Why it's a problem on iOS side? We have, as you can see on the first table, we have 4 types of notification, 2 providers, and several senders about that. And it's quite a pain to implement it and to test it, because we have, if first it was simple, we have already a messaging notification, and then there was automated search, then ad renewal, and then Xengage. And each provider have their own laws and way to work. So for example, if you want to test a messaging notification, you can only do this on production side. If you want to test automated search and ad renewal, you can only do this on the QA side and only on the debug side on the application. So it's quite a mess on iOS side. And the main goal of this topic, of the tech topics, is quite simple. Just make it simple. Just a simple notification manager. Manager in order to just, if you want to register to notification, you have to make a single call about that. Also, like for example, one of our feature team research wanted to implement a new to modify how we display the number on the app icon if you receive a new notification about automated search. So now we just have to make a single call in order to reset it or display a simple number. And this is something now every iOS developer can do that, because until now I'm mostly the only one knowing how this mess works. So it was very necessary to work on it right now. And it's currently in review, and I hope it will be available next week. Yep.
I will give you an update on messaging for professionals. So, do not worry if you do not understand everything from this graph. There will be a detailed presentation on messaging for professionals on the 11th of February. Basically, we just made sure that by opening messaging for professionals, that everything that is supposed to be legacy, such as a non-logged in user, still goes through a template and emails and that sort of things. Here, I'd like to show you what it looks like, well, pretty much like a private individual. So on the left side, you can see when a professional account access their messaging for the first time. You can see a welcome message. And what it looks like on the right side of the screen when they already have messages being sent. And beware that the P2P integrations that you see at the bottom, such as make an offer or launch payment, will be removed. The development is currently in progress. Yes, Mathilde?
Yes. Just a question for the first screen.
Yes.
You didn't find a solution to change the sentences since it's written between private.
Yes, sorry, my bad. Indeed, that's one of the bugs that we detected. Yes, it's also in development. Yes, sorry, I forgot to specify.
It's on the messaging widget, so we have to ask them, and they will make the change.
Okay.
Yeah, it will no longer say between private individuals, but between sellers and buyers.
So it's done on iOS and Android, but for the web it's a widget, messaging widget. But because we are doing the A/B test on the template message, we cannot update. We have to choose between.
Okay.
So we are talking with messaging about that.
Yeah, we will discuss it later.
All right. And Emmanuel?
Yep. So to keep sure that everything will happen fine and to reduce the loop between developers and testers, I did some data-driven tests. I will show you what it is. So some of you maybe already know what it is. So it's just implementing some truth table on the code, and here we do a generic test. So just checking that a user will arrive on the good channel when he tries to start a conversation. So either a conversation or email. And here we describe all the functional tests. And so it's just a name here, and on the right, oops, sorry. We have the technical meaning of the functional test case, and we see that if the buyer is part of the seller is private, and then the messaging should be allowed. So here is the expectation, and here is the input. And we can run all these tests and get a confirmation that everything will work fine. So if a test is breaking, I can change something just to see what happens. I can see that this test is failing, so I could check the algorithm to understand why this is not working. So this is data-driven test. And je regarde le link. Je n'ai pas les slides. Je n'ai pas les slides en fait. Je vais fermer pour être tranquille. So that's it for messaging for Pro. Other subjects, we worked on holiday with OneToll. We changed a bit the wording for the notification. So at the left you can see what it was before for the buyer. Yeah. And at the right, now the buyer and the seller have the details about when it starts, when it finishes, and the price as well for the seller. Not the price, just the account.
Is it already in production?
Yes.
So this week we worked on the wording of one CTA for the hosts, and we want to A/B test it. So yes, these two. We also did an harmonization of the CTAs and ad replies journey between Pro and Parts. I did an ergonomy audit on ad reply because it is our priority to rework it. And so I showed Lucie some wireframes and to be soon presented to the team and to Mathilde. And the next steps are to prototype 2 solutions and to make some user tests and some AB tests. Thank you.
Just before that, I'm gonna give you a brief feedback about email archiving. So everything is done. I'm talking about coding the service. Everything is done. I have just an issue to get the secret of Amazon client. So I'm checking that with Jeremy, the manager. So, but I think it will be on production by the end of next week. About yes, about mine. Yeah, I haven't seen.
It's the first time.
Yes. We don't have noticed some major bugs this week, this spring. I think I had just one alert, and it was a recurrent one. So every time we are having this alert. So
actually, just for the reply, we changed the status code for some errors, which were 500, and it was not good. It was not supposed to be 500. Such cases. So we fixed, and maybe it can be a reason why everything is so green.
Okay.
And you added May archiver now.
Yeah.
You can see it. It's here.
So we already have a.
Yes, we for now for mail archiving we are saving the archiving request just in database, and when we will push the code in production, we will store them in S3. So everything is fine. And yes, we are doing a cool thing is that every sprint we are handling at least one bug. So we are having less and less bugs every time.
Ouais, just to finish. So next sprint, we are going to launch messaging for Pro to deploy on different category in 2 times. So Android is working on his side for messaging for Pro, so it will be live for iOS and web in the next sprint. And we start the fork on web and on iOS. And on web, Peggy and William are coming and are arriving next Monday to start their onboarding and start working with Thibaut on the fork. Yes, that's it. So as I said, Peggy and William are arriving on Monday, deploying messaging for Pro, and we are doing a big presentation about messaging for Pro in February, the 11th. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. You guys any
Question?
Yes.
Oui, c'est corrigé. Ta question, c'était sur la messagerie. Ça va, le message, je veux dire un truc, là, oui. C'est corrigé, il faut qu'on envoie un truc.